Good everybody, Chris Farhi here from the Bayleys Insights and Data team. We've got Ankur Dakwale. In this video, we'll give you a quick update on the latest activity in the housing market as we enter October 2023. So Ankur, what have we got in this video?
Yes, in this video we have sales activity prices across New Zealand, house price trends, what's Bayleys been doing in the market, and the outlook for the market as well.
Yeah, awesome. So let's get into it. So first off, agents are reporting that there's fewer homes for sale at the moment. So we've got the latest data from realestate.co.nz to sort of see if that's the case. So Ankur, what do we have in this data?
Yes, the latest data shows that there's 7,444 homes that were newly listed in the month of August. Now, if you compare that to last year, it's a bit quiet. There's 22,750 homes that are advertised on the website for sale at the end of August 2023. Now, if you look at that as a trend, it's down about 11% on last year.
Yeah, and so that's pretty interesting. So what it means is that if you are looking to sell at the moment, there's sort of fewer competing homes for sale right now, although we are starting to see that sort of spring surge come through, and there is some commentary around the market that we might see more activity after the election. Next up, in terms of housing market activity, we've got the latest REINZ stats, so it's Real Estate Institute, house prices, numbers of sales, that type of stuff. So Ankur, what do we have in this data?
Yeah, so the latest data on this front shows that in August we had 5,500 homes that were sold across New Zealand, halfway between the quiet year of 2022 and a typical pre-pandemic years between 2017 and 2019. The median price was $767,000. Now this is down from $770,000 in the previous month. It's been bouncing up and down within about $13,000 range over the past 6 months.
Yeah, it's interesting because if you look at the house price index, which looks at the quality of homes sold and sort of adjusts for that, what we've seen is a general rise across New Zealand over the past couple of months. And in a couple of the major cities like Auckland, Wellington and Christchurch, we've actually seen what's becoming a steady trend up. And there was a bit of commentary from ANZ Bank recently that they believe that house prices are actually rising faster than they had expected maybe a couple of months ago. So there's a general rise in prices coming through. Probably a lot of that's to do with the fewer number of homes that's for sale right now. Next up, that median house price of $767,000. Always interesting to see what you could actually buy in the market for that price. So Ankur, what have we got around New Zealand?
Yeah, so first up in Auckland, we have 82 Rangihina Road in Hobsonville. Now this is privately positioned on point, a near new 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom lock and leave residence, and it was sold by Jevon Chow and Matthew Haynes from Bayleys in Northwest.
Yeah, and then next up we've got 49A Waharoa Road East in Matamata in the Waikato. Convenient with easy living, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home on 650 square metres. So sold by Kelly Hudson and Julie Dare from Bayleys Matamata.
And last up we got 53 Tutaipai 2 Avenue in Pegasus, Canterbury. Now this is Watch the Show, 3 bedrooms, 2-bathroom home on 519 square metres, and it was sold by Lance Farron from Bayleys and Rangihina.
Yeah, and pretty interesting comment from Lance down in Rangihina that master plan communities like Pegasus, and I guess we'd also see like Hanley's Farm and Jacks Point and Queenstown, very popular for out-of-region buyers just for the sort of lifestyle offer and the overall design of the estate. So yeah, it's an interesting little sale down there. Next up, Bayleys has been busy over the past month. A couple of shout outs in the media. So Ankur, what do we have in this space?
Yeah, first up we got the bungalow in Westmere that sold within 7 days of hitting the market, and this was sold by Christina Cesaris from the Bayleys Ponsonby office. Now she's in the news for the sale of 125 Warnock Street in Westmere. The pre-auction offer the day after the first open home. Auction was brought forward and this was sold under the hammer for $2.36 million.
Yeah, and interesting, next up we had a Christchurch auction which turned into a street fight, and so this was some commentary from Connor Padden from the Bayleys auction team. And so this was a property on Penruddock Rise in Westmoreland in Christchurch. Had a very intense auction which included people bidding over themselves, so just a little bit of an interesting one there. And I don't think there was an actual street fight, but yeah, kind of close. We also had a high stakes land grab in Queenstown.
Yeah, so last up we have the high stakes land grab in Queenstown. This was sold by Chris Campbell down in Queenstown, and he's in the news for selling 163 hectare housing development land near Hanley's Farm for $70 million.
Yeah, so pretty interesting. So the teams have been busy there, and if you check out the likes of One Roof, you can see our sort of regular feed of content coming through. So next off, just shifting into, I guess, the outlook for the housing market. If we went back maybe 12 months ago, there were 3 things that really stood out. There was this concern around interest rates, there was this consistent downward trend in prices, and there was also quite a bit of negative sentiment around the market. So if we start to look forward on where we think things are going, it makes sense just to touch on each of those first. And so first off, interest rates, right, Ankur, what's the situation here at the moment?
Yeah, so on the interest rate front, the Reserve Bank has indicated that the interest rates will remain at an elevated level for some time. General view is that interest rates are at their peak, and inflation is the other consideration, which has been coming down but still remains a factor of concern.
The latest GDP data showed economic growth was maybe a little bit more positive than people were expecting, and so that might put some pressure on the Reserve Bank to sort of keep the interest rates elevated for a period. But we might see them bounce around a little bit at that higher level for some time. But I guess it's fair to say that the market has priced these in to a certain extent, and that's been visible through that downward trend in prices over the past 18 months. Yeah, and then in terms of that downward price trend, so that was obviously a thing for about 18 months, but it's been fair to say that for about 6 months now, we've seen either stable or rising prices, particularly in some of those lead markets like Auckland, Wellington, and Christchurch. So fair to say that the downward price trend is not really a thing at the moment. And then if we look at the sentiment in the market, Ankur, things have become a bit more positive.
Yeah, so you can see that the articles and the media coverage is largely focused on the recovery of the market now rather than it crashing and burning. The Reserve Bank has recently changed its house price forecast as well, along with some major banks as well, and now showing growth over the next 18 months by the Reserve Bank.
If you look at some of the independent commentators, they're becoming more positive. In particular, Tony Alexander recently commenting that there's more first home buyers and investors in the market. FOMO, so fear of missing out, appears to be coming back into the market. And he actually went as far as saying that the market's converting from a buyer's market to a seller's market, although obviously off a pretty low base, so interesting. And then we've got two big features there sort of sticking out in terms of the way forward for the market. One is migration.
Yeah, so we've nearly had 100,000 people into the country over the last 12 months. So this has been a net gain. And the surging migration, you'll see pressure on the rental market. So you already started seeing the rents increase, and this will flow on to the housing market later on as well.
Yeah, and so we think that that's probably going to push first home buyers into buy mode, and then probably some attraction from investors as rental lifts. And then of course we've got the big wild card, which to be fair, by the time you're watching this video, you might actually know what's happening, but as at right now, we don't know which way the election's going to go, but it's apparent that if the National Party was to win, they've got a couple of policies that are likely to boost the housing market. One around interest deductibility, which is likely to push more investors into the market. And then we've also got their removal of the foreign buyer ban, which might impact certain price points in the market as well. Yeah, so we'll have to wait until after the election to see which direction that's going. And it's fair to say that even if there is a change in government, it might take a little bit of time for those policies to actually kick in. And so just to wrap up, a couple of takeouts for the market, I guess. So Ankur, if you're looking to sell at the moment, what's the sort of key message?
Yeah, the key message for looking to sell is going to have relatively lower number of competition on the market because there's fewer properties on sale in the same suburb. And there's also the advantage of being able to sell and buy in the same market as well. So there's a bit more predictability right now because the market is a bit stable.
Yep.
And looking ahead, if you're concerned on buying at the moment, commentators are generally forecasting a recovery of the market. So likely that you're buying at a good time in the cycle.
Yeah, cool. So look, with that said, we'll wrap it up here. So thanks very much, Ankur.
Thanks, Chris.
And we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.